From Maricopa County's Tent City in Arizona, it's Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher. Scared Correct. And now, your host, Bill Maher. Bill's guest tonight, actor Mike Farrell, actor and comedian Daryl, detention officer Maria Martinez, and inmate Rubin Becarra.
I feel great. I'm popular in prison. Look, I'm not going to pretend I know what it's like to do hard time, but I do want to point out that I did sit through the first 9 hours of the Green Mile. So, please, no. Now, I don't know if you can sense it here on television, but I tell you, when you're here in Tent City, there really is a lot of hate. Luckily, it's Arizona, so it's a dry hate. But now, this show we're doing tonight here, this is in lockdown. These are the guys who are bad, even in prison. They're here for serious crimes. For example, show of hands. How many of you have sold drugs to Governor Bush? Any? And Sheriff Joe, you know, he is one of the toughest. He is the toughest sheriff in America. Very, very tough sheriff. I'll tell you, his very good. His idea of a victimless crime is when they can't find the body. But as Sheriff Joe always said, you know, it's tough around here. You work till you're exhausted. The food is barely edible. But, hey, the bologna is always greener on the other side. All right. Thank you very much. Green bologna here in the prison. All right, let's meet our panelists. How are you? Okay. All right. Well, Mike, you've been on the show before, and when you were, we talked about the death penalty. I know you are probably the most famous proponent of getting rid of the death penalty here in America, and I have good news for you. I'm with you to a degree, because Governor George Ryan of Illinois recently said we should have a moratorium until we can weed out the people who are really not deserving of the death penalty. I'm with that. However, let me just give you the extreme case about the death penalty. Brandon Wilson killed a 9-year-old in an L.A. restroom. The only witness was George Michael. Kidding. Let me give you his quote. He said, "I feel no remorse for what I've done. I'd do it again in a second if I had the chance. My whole purpose in life is to help destroy society. You should do everything in your program to rid the world of me." Give me the argument about why we keep a guy who wants the state to do this to him.
Well, if we didn't have the death penalty that he was so eagerly seeking, he wouldn't have had to kill that kid. We're talking about here about state-assisted suicide.
And this is the type of guy, you don't kill him. You keep him somewhere, you institutionalize him, and you examine him. You find out his brain, and you pick his brain. You pick his brain so you can analyze other people and stop the problem before it happens.
What we have to begin to understand is that there's always a reason for human behavior. People do things for a reason, and when we stop to analyze what we're doing, and what we're teaching by doing this...
There are no just evil people?
I don't believe there are evil people.
Really? You just don't think...
who are bent as a result of their experiences in life.
You don't think there's just such a thing as a bad seed?
No, there's no such thing as a bad seed.
Really?
No, it's not a bad seed.
Come on. Bad seed.
Yo, it's
people come out of the womb and they're just twisted, and somehow they're going to grow up to be...
he's requesting this because he thinks this is the way out of it? Not that he deserves to die.
I'd do it again in a second if I had the chance.
You don't let him back out. You know he's sick. You know he's sick.
But isn't it
a sick human being?
He's sick.
Isn't it crueler to keep someone warehoused for the rest of his life? What purpose does...
If the idea is punishment, then why are you arguing against something that you believe is crueler?
There you go. You guys all think
death
this is
more merciful.
So
I believe it's less cruel.
I see. Well, I disagree with you. I think that, first of all, we have no right to take the life of another human being, period.
He don't have a right either. We don't, but we don't have a right. Yes, he did. But he may be
child's
sick.
life that couldn't talk for themselves.
I understand that.
He might have been all in the right mind in his head.
You know how many people...
Who made the decision not to
people
be
have done
in
awful things. People will do awful things throughout history. But if we're going to have a civilized society, we've got to establish customs and rituals within which we can advance that civilization. One of them is to take a person who is so sick that he does terrible things and put him or her in a place where they cannot do any harm to themselves or anybody else.
This is just a little playground here. This is nothing.
And you guys are all arguing for these people. They're saying, they're self-esteem. They like it here.
You know what?
It ain't that we like it. It ain't we like it.
It's child play. If it was harder, they wouldn't come in.
It's not like they like this place. It's the fact that, this is what they know. In some instances, this place is better than some people's homes. Because why? Because we just lack jobs, education, and opportunity. So what happens is, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do something because I got to survive.
And we have
and then I end up in here.
That's
programs.
That's a BS cop-out. That they have to do it to survive.
They got to do what they got to do to make it happen, man.
Nobody has to do it to survive.
You know what?
You know what? This country is way too rich for people to have to do anything to survive.
They need to share the wealth.
This is the wealthiest country in the world, and as a result, it is a shame that we have 2 million people in jails and prisons in this country.
Thank you.
That I agree.
Thank you.
And having the wealth and the ability to provide an education and make sure people have jobs and make sure people have health care and make sure kids don't grow up without any understanding of the possibility that their lives suggest is what is the responsibility we have.
Come on, there are some people who are just rotten.
Oh, come on.
Hello? Please speak on my behalf.
So you say that I'm rotten?
There's no rotten. Wait a second. He's saying something.
Take it easy, bro. Take it easy, because you know
I'm a rotten person.
Be easy, bro. Be easy. Easy. All right.
Who made you do what you did?
Society.
Thank you.
Society did. You haven't responsibility for your own behavior yet, right?
On some
How
part
old
of
are you? And you still are not being responsible for your actions.
Yeah, so we're doing time. We're doing time now.
I'm paying the price for it. I'm paying the price for what I did.
I appreciate you being here because it's my job security. However, you made the decision to do wrong, not
Remember
me.
she said that. She appreciates you being here because that's job security.
That's her money.
But that's...
Remember that, bro. Remember that.
I got to take a commercial. We will come back to this in a bit. The lockdown, where the really bad ones are. And we were talking about basically personal responsibility, and what you said basically reminds me of these lawsuits against the tobacco industry. People say, you know what, they made me do it. Well, what about the people, the millions of people who quit on their own? What about the millions of people who did resort to a life of crime? What do you say to...
The thing is this, man, with tobacco, I think people are complaining that there was substances and things in, and they knew the nicotine was addictive, and didn't. Now they got the warning on the label. If the warning, it's just like with the records. We had to put parental guidance explicit language on it. If they buy the records, then so be it.
So we're going to
warnings were never on there.
Store, do not rob this store. It's bad for your health.
Nah, it's common sense, you know, that's stealing.
That's common sense.
That's stealing.
You know, it seems to me, instead of tossing out slogans, let me ask you a question. You said it's not your responsibility. What you did is not your responsibility. You got to know that. Of course, what you did is your responsibility. And you're going to do the time for it. Now, the question is...
Yeah, he said it. He did. He said it was society.
It was society, right. What is it about what happens in this society that puts you where you are and us where we are?
The jobs. See, there's not. See, we got to go out there. A lot of us, you know, we don't come from, you know, rich families and stuff, like a lot of you know, people. We're out there. We got to struggle. We got to hustle. We got to make our hustle to survive, feed our kids.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And
I'm talking about the programs you have here. If you mess up one little thing, they roll you up.
What are you here for?
Yeah.
What are you here for?
Because
to try and rehabilitate, correct?
This is rehabilitation.
We have a lot of different programs. If you choose to get on restriction or not be able to participate, that's a choice, again, you've made.
But this ain't rehabilitation. This yard is a hustling yard. This is not rehabilitation.
So you're saying that this isn't a bad place?
This is a little kid
There you go.
You know
Then what are we talking about? This is a good place. This is a good place. Nothing
Come on,
to
this
it.
place should be burned down. We all know that.
they had an article in the Jet magazine about black people who were happy to be slaves. They were happy being slaves. It's not a fact of being happy. What happened? You accept your fate. This man has accepted his fate of being here. Don't make it that he's happy to be here. He's just accepting the fact. I'm here. I got to deal with it.
All of my family members that have come through here.
You have family members through here too?
Bet.
And you don't understand the situation.
And my family is from the projects too, so you guys are using cop-outs. You can be what you want to be. You can be what you want to be.
It's a cop-out.
It's all within you.
And people make bad choices, and people make mistakes, and sometimes they
pay for them, and they go out and start over.
Right, they come here and pay for them. And then they go out and start it. They come here and they are dehumanized, they are humiliated, they are beat on, and they are then expected to go out and somehow see life differently.
Right. It's supposed to be all gravy now. No, that ain't going to happen.
The prison system in this country is not about rehabilitation.
No.
It's about beating people down and punishing people, and that is not the way to make a safe society.
But if we were dealing with the prison system, that's one thing. We're talking Maricopa County Jail. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about the prison system. I'm not familiar enough with that.
I don't care whether you locked up in the precinct. It's jail. It's jail. Whether you in this little county, it's jail. A big prison is jail. It shouldn't matter whether you in a precinct or in a big prison. Everybody should be treated accordingly. And from the moment they are booked, you should be trying to work on, look, get your life together. Get this A, B, and C to get back out. I don't care if you're getting out tomorrow or 10 years.
Before they get out to get a job. We have programs.
All right, but if I'm going to go out there and work hard.
It's up to them to take advantage of it. I can't force them, because if I force them, then I'm wrong for forcing them.
I'm in a program right now in Alpha. I'm trying to rehabilitate myself, so I can do a different, drop it different.
Good.
Good for you.
I own my own company on the streets right now. 25. I've been to prison. I got 2 kids, and I have my own company. A lot of people in here can't say that for themselves.
Okay.
So I'm not an evil person like you were saying. You know what I mean?
I never said you were an evil person. I said most of the people in here are there for a reason. I understand that there is prejudice, there is racism, and that there is less opportunity for those in minorities. But you know what? A lot of them have made it out, including yourself.
I got lucky. I got an opportunity. It's a window. It's like a lottery, baby. I got a chance to do something. But what I did, I left myself room to have an opportunity to make something happen when I was seeking this career. So I wasn't always here. The rest of my family's still struggling. Still struggling.
But you're there helping them out, right? You're taking care of them.
I'm trying, but you know what it is? The government ain't helping me. I can do all I can. I can give these kids money. I can do this bottom clothes, do this giving incentive, but they getting poor education.
Giving them material things.
That's what I'm saying. But I can't. Well, I'm gonna pay for the whole family education. The whole family education.
You got the opportunity. You got the ability to do it, so do it.
Where the government at? I'm Wait a second. That's what I pay taxes for.
No, that's not why you pay taxes.
Let me ask you this. Why in this prison, they got to pay for their food, but it's state tax in here. It's state tax.
I got to take a break. Let me get on to this, because this is one of the most interesting things we found, and I certainly did not realize when I came here, is that prison is very much a family affair. Most of the inmates we talk to have a relative, usually a father or an older brother, who is also in prison. Maria, you're a guard, and I know you prefer DO, detention officer, but just for our audience who understands better, a guard. You have an ex-husband who was involved in gangs. You have a brother-in-law who's serving life for murder. You have a 15-year-old on probation and a 16-year-old who is a urine test away from a possession charge. This is not uncommon. Besides it being a family affair, prison is very much something where colleagues are formed between the guards and the guarded. I don't think people realize that, how close they are. A lot of guards, when they were youths, were involved in crime. A lot of the people who were behind bars wanted to be cops. It seems almost arbitrary that you landed on which side of the judicial system you landed on.
But I don't think it's quite arbitrary. I think it's a function of socioeconomic class and what opportunities there are. One is you do crime, and another is you do the other side. But I'm concerned about the fact, first of all, people should understand this is a jail. Jails and prisons are different things. Most of these people are short-timers. None of them are evil. They are human beings who have done some things that are wrong. Some of them thought they could get away with it.
Well, many of them have been in prison.
Okay, but some of them will go out and do things that are wrong again. But given the opportunity here to make things right, you would make things right, from what you're telling us. You know, all I got is your word for it, right?
Yeah.
But there are programs offered to you here that you can better yourself, and you can go out and do a straight life. The point here is, as Rubin has suggested, he's found a way to move himself into a better direction, and there is such a kind of ethic of wrongness on the part of the system that anytime he does something that they consider not okay, they slam it down, roll him out of the system, and he doesn't get to complete
it. The day of shaving, they roll you up.
Okay, but how come? When they come in here, when they come to our yard, they're working trustees, and in order to remain a working trustee, there's certain rules you have to follow. They sign their rules, they have them, they keep them, and they have to abide by them. If they can't abide by simple rules here, how are they going to abide by simple rules on the outside?
I mean, isn't there something to human nature? Isn't there something to the fact that maybe these two people grew up in a very similar neighborhood?
We did.
Well, so how come she's wearing that and he's wearing that?
Because I grew up and I looked and I have children and I have somebody to support and take care of. That's
and the thing
why.
and the thing is this, man.
At the end of the day, don't we...
Who wants this job? Who wants the job?
It's a good point.
Good job. And he ain't gonna try and get it back. That's the thing.
This is my career. I like to be here.
Why does someone choose to be in a place where there is this kind of cruelty?
Originally, I wanted to be a police officer, so I thought the best way to be a good cop would be to start on the inside. 13 years later, I'm still here because I like what I do.
Are you tough?
Because if there's one person that walks out of here and I make even half a bit of difference, I appreciate that.
He asked you a question.
Are you hardened by this experience?
No.
You're just as soft as you were when you came in?
What I think it's done for me, and having family involved in crime as I have, it makes me somebody that can sort of understand what's going on.
I heard in the area. I heard, but wait a minute. I heard your boss say that he was proud when people called him names because it showed how tough he was. Yeah. He wants to be a guy running a tough system, a tough institution, and he brags about how tough he is. Now, is that the kind of caring that you're talking about?
I've thought about this a lot, and what I thought is, here you have one man who's decided to take the whole system on his shoulders and come in here and try and make a difference, and everybody condemns him for it. Why?
We had a conversation a little while back, me and our pal, and I said, I've been here with a bunch of convicts. I go, why aren't you a convict? He threatened me about rolling me up, getting me, doing 5 years.
Because he was a convict?
Yeah.
Who, Joe?
Yeah.
Was he a convict? Or you just said that?
With him, and the dude took it, got butt hurt.
Look, it's the authoritarian view versus you got what? Yeah, I heard that. The authoritarian view, this says, I'm going to hammer you down until you become a good person. And the other one is the one you're talking about that says, out of where I come, I've got some sense of understanding of the fact that I can help people, okay? That's a very different view.
There's only a few guards on this yard that will help you. The other guards don't even give a damn about you. It's just about getting their paycheck and going home. That's it.
Speaking of that, I've got to take a commercial and go home myself. Daryl, you barely spoke tonight.
Yeah, man.
You have 3 seconds if you want to say a final shout-out.
Yo, I just want to say to all the brothers,
Too late.
Lock down, keep your head up.
Thanks to all my guests. Good night.